What's going on, Rovers? It's Mr. Shalat back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about our multi-view sketching with circles assignment. We had 4 drawings for homework. We're going to take a look at it, explain where all the projections came from. If anyone struggled on any of these drawings, this is going to be a detailed explanation of how to get the answers for the homework, okay? So you've already submitted your homework. We're just going to take a look. If you made any mistakes, you can feel free to pause, draw, and rewind as you're watching this video. Figure out where your mistakes are. To speed things up, I projected some lines. We'll be talking about each of them that I already have drawn, okay? So when we look at this particular drawing here, the width of this drawing is 3.5. Remember, we're not going with the measurements. We're just saying 3.5 boxes, okay? But every measurement on this assignment you had to double. So instead of 3.5, it's actually 7 blocks wide by 10 blocks tall, because this is 5 on the height, okay? Depth-wise is 2, so that would be 4, okay? We have to double these numbers. Coming over to our drawing, all right? Starting out, we came across from the corner, all right? I came across 7 blocks, and I went up 10 blocks. All right. Once I have that, I project that line over to here, that line over to here, vertical line up, vertical line up. That's what I have on here right now. Now, I've already sketched the front view. We'll talk about how this front view came about. All right. When you look at this front view, you see 2 key shapes. You see this L, all right, and then you see this upside down L. So you see 2 shapes when you're drawing this. All right. The measurements that they give us, it says it comes up 3 to the height, which means I got to come up 6. Then it comes over. They don't tell us this distance, unfortunately, but we do have enough information on the drawing to figure out the distance from here to here, okay? They're saying from this side over is 2.5. The overall was 3.5. So if we subtract these 2 numbers, that's telling us that this is 1 block. Well, 1 block times 2, okay, so it's 2 blocks. When we go to draw this, okay, again, we come up our 6 blocks, we come over 2, we come down 2, because on the drawing it said this is down 1, all right? So we double it, we come down 2, and we come all the way over. There's our shape, there's our L, okay, and there's our upside down L. Now we have to project this information over to here, all right? If we take each of these lines and I project each of them over, okay, so I'll take that black line that I have and I'll project that over, and I project that over, okay? Those lines are going to help us, all right? When we look at our right side view, which is this crosshatch pattern, that black area, okay, we know that we have a depth of 2. So on here, we're coming across 4 blocks, okay? Of those 4 blocks, it comes back 1 block, which means if this is 1 block, 2 minus 1, this is 1 block. So we're doubling everything. So this would be 2 blocks, and this would be 2 blocks. So on our drawing over here, okay, from the top up here, I'm going to come over 2 blocks, make a mark, okay? At that mark, it will start getting projected down, so I can go ahead and project that down. I don't know where exactly I'm going to need it, so I'll just project it all the way down. All right. I also can project this up because it's something that I'm going to use, so I'll go up and project that over. Okay, so on the drawing here, I will project up. When it hits my 45, all right, I'm now going to bring it over in this direction, stay along the line, all right? Now, how this works, okay, we have the big L. We'll draw the big L first, all right? So it comes down, the length of the shape comes over. We can darken some of that in so we start to see it. Okay, bring that over. And then it starts coming up. How high does it come up? Well, it comes up to this point. That point is right here, which we've already projected. So we can pull that to there, okay? All right, up to there. At that point where it's at, it comes back a depth of 1 block, which in our case is 2 blocks. So I'm going to follow that line over 2 blocks, right? And then from there, we could see the L forming, so I'm going to draw that line straight up to the top and finish. All right. There we go. All right, so that's one surface. This surface is this surface, okay? Now, we have this extra block here, so we need that block. That block is going to be 1 wide by 1 tall, so 2 by 2. As you can see, because of our projection, we have our 2 by 2 box, so we can go ahead and darken those in. Okay, looking good. So our right side is done. We cannot project anything else up. Everything here vertically has already been projected up. All right, on this side, this has been projected up. This has been projected up. We have not projected this up yet, so we can go ahead and project that line. All right. Okay, so I've projected that line up. I'm probably going to need it somewhere. Looking at this thing from the top, we have one really long rectangle, a small square, and then another rectangle. Okay, so we see those 3 surfaces. We have to make those surfaces appear on our drawing, and as you can see, due to our projections already, we already have those measurements. We don't have to count anything because of our projection. Through our 45, we've brought the information up and over. All right, now all we have to do is darken things in. So as I go to darken this in, I'll do the long rectangle first. Okay, that runs the whole length of the shape, like so. Then we have this box. And then our final rectangle. Okay, so for the first shape there, that's how we go about doing all of our projections. Okay, looking good. Let's move on to the next drawing. Okay, the next drawing was this guy. All right, remember we double everything that's on the drawing. I've already put some lines on here. We'll talk about them. All right, the overall of this shape is 2 3/4. 2 3/4, if we double that, okay, gives us 5 1/2. The depth is 1/2. We double that, that's 1. All right, and then the overall height, at no point do they tell us the overall height, but we can do the addition. We've got 1 1/4, so 1 1/4 times 2 is 2 1/2 on the height. All right, looking to do the drawing. All right, here we start over here, all right, and it was 5 1/2, so I had to come over 5 1/2 boxes, project that line up because I'm going to need it, okay? Then, height-wise, the overall height of the shape, when you look over here, remember, was 2 1/2 because 1 1/4 doubled, okay? So 2 1/2 boxes. There's our shape, okay? And we can start to draw our front view. We follow the dimensions that they give us, okay? And we start to get our front view. So as we look at this, it comes up here to this landing is 1 inch, so it's 2 blocks. All right, so we come up a full 2 blocks. This side we come up 2 blocks. Then it tells us it's over 1 inch, so we have to come over 2. Okay, so it's at 1/2 right now. So that'd be 1, 2. That's why we land at the 1/2. Okay, and then coming across the top, they're saying that's 1. So again, double it, 2 blocks. We're starting at 1/2, so we got to go 1, 2. That puts us there. All right, come down, flatten it out, and we're good to go. That's our front view. We project everything that we have in the opposite directions, and that's why you see the lines that we already have. All right, so looking at this thing from the right side, we have this dark shaded in area. Okay, it's a long rectangle, and then on top we have another short rectangle, those 2 surfaces, and that's what we have right here. Okay, long and a short one. And then on top we have these 2 flat surfaces, and this one with a curve, but ends up looking flat from the sky. Okay, So when we do that, we end up with our 3. All right. So that's why we have the lines that we currently do. Now, where does this circle go? Well, the circle, all right, they're telling us we have to get to that center point in order to draw it. All right. To get to that center point, they want us to come over 1 1/4, which would be 2 1/2. I got to come over 2 1/2 boxes. And then from there, I got to come up 3/4 of an inch. Well, if I double that, that's 1 1/2. So I need to come over 2 1/2, right? And then go up 1 1/2. So on our drawing here, I come over 2 1/2 boxes, which puts me to here. And then I come up 1 1/2 boxes, which puts me at that center point. This point here is that point there. We're now ready to draw the circle. So to go ahead and sketch that circle, they're telling us the diameter is a 1/2 inch circle. Okay, so the diameter, which is the full distance from one side to the other, is a 1/2. In our scenario, it's 1. So based off of where we are at, the circle needs to have a 1 inch diameter. Well, we're dead center. So if I go 1/2 one way and 1/2 the other way, that's 1. Same thing here. Down 1/2, up 1/2. Then I just sketch the circle. So that circle is going to take up that whole single block right there. Let me sketch it in here. All right. So now, once you have that circle that takes up that whole block, we're looking good. We're now going to add some center lines to it, okay? Because this is, okay, this here is a circle. So therefore, we need our center lines. Remember, okay, when we have a circle, it's a long line, a short dash, and a long line. And then a long line, a short dash, and a long line. That gives us our center mark, okay, whenever you have a circle. So on here, the lines are going to be small, but you got to make sure you get them in there. Okay, it's going to be a long line, a short dash, and a long line. Long, short, long. Okay, ends up looking like a little like a little bit of a target. All right. Now, we need to represent this circle on our other views, both over here and at the top. This is a hole that runs through the whole shape. So we have to show our hidden lines. We're going to follow that across and add our hidden lines. Okay, so we'd have hidden lines over here, and then a center line indicating the center of the circle. You're going to do that here at the top too. We come up to the top, okay? You have your hidden lines and your center line, all right? And that's going to be the drawing. I know I didn't darken the whole thing in, but you can see where the dark red lines are of what the drawing is going to look like. All right, so that's drawing number 2. Let's switch over to another one. Next one, okay, this one has more circles in it. All right, so determining how big everything is, all right, we have a distance here of 5 on the width. That means it's 10 blocks wide. Height-wise is going to be 3, okay, so 6 blocks tall, and then the depth is going to end up being 1 1/2 because we have to double that 3/4. Looking at what I have here, I've already projected the size of our construction box. All right, we come across 10 boxes, you come up, okay, 6. Pause the video if you need to. That's the size of our box. Then I'm going to skip 4 boxes over, 4 boxes up, okay. Get my shape here. I need to go over 1 1/2 boxes from here. So I'm going to come over 1 1/2, make a mark, 1 1/2, make a mark, draw my box, project that up, project it over, okay? So this box and this box, okay, the width of this box is the depth on this box, 1 1/2, 1 1/2. All right, so we're good to go. Now let's start putting these circles on here. Okay, we got to determine where they land here in the box. So let me get my red pen. Okay. Determining on the drawing where to put our center mark. Okay, we need to know where boom, boom, and boom, those 3, where do they go? All right, well on here, they're saying I have to come over 1 1/2, which would be 3, and I have to come up 1 1/2. So from the corner, I got to come over 3 boxes and go up 3 boxes. We look at our drawing. Okay, I count over 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's count it up. Okay, so I start over here. I count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 puts me right there. I'm now ready to draw my circle. The circle that I have to draw is a certain size. They're telling us the diameter of 3. Remember, we have to double it. So it is a diameter of 3. When we do a diameter of 3, that means I have to go 1.5 in each direction. So from this mark, I'm going to go, let me put the marks on here. Then I'll talk about it. All right, so our center mark is here. I now have to go 1.5 boxes, 1.5 box, 1.5, 1.5. You got to go in each direction. Once you have those 4 marks, now you have a spot where you're going to sketch your circle. Okay, you're going to sketch your circle. So we'll sketch that in a minute. Let's put these other ones on here. Okay, to get to this top circle, they're telling us we've got to go over 1 inch and down 1 inch. So over 2, down 2. Starting here at the corner, okay, I'm going to count over 2, down 2. All right. Top corner, over 2, down 2. Gets me to the mark, okay. At that point, we have to do our dimension for our circle, okay. They're telling us both of these holes here are 3/4 of an inch, okay. 2 times 0.75. So when we go to do this, all right, that means 1.5 is our diameter, okay, from where we are at, okay. 1.5 is our diameter. We got to go 3/4 of a block, 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. Make those marks so we can get that circle on there, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and just make some marks on my page just to demonstrate, okay? So where you're at, you're going to come out 3/4 of a block in each direction from that center mark that we have. And then lastly, that last circle, all right, when we look at our dimensions here, they're telling us to go over 3, because it's 1.5, over 3 and up 2. Double that, okay? So over 3, up 2. So we'll start in the corner, okay? I'll go over 3, I'll go up 2. I got my mark. Okay, once I have my mark, I got to go 3/4 of a block in each direction. Okay, so we went over 3 and up 2, and then you go 3/4 of a block in each direction. You can now see where those circles will be drawn. Okay, so let's go ahead and sketch them. All right, again, I'm doing this with pen. It might not look the best. Nice and light till you know it's right, then you can darken it in. Okay, now that we have those circles, okay, we have to show them on both our top view and our right side view. We can't see them from the sides. They will be showing up as hidden lines. We have to show that this circle goes all the way through. So you are going to end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hidden lines over here on this drawing. 6 of them, okay? So you project the top and bottom of each circle over here. You're going to have a whole mess of lines. You're going to do the same thing up top. You're going to project 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lots and lots of hidden lines. You're going to project all of those. Go ahead and do it. Pause the video. All right, once you have those hidden lines, all right, you also have to designate the center lines on here. So when I go to do this, it's going to be a long line, a short dash, another long line, long, short, long, long, short, long, long, short, long, long, short, long, long, short, long. All right, there's our center marks. Okay, again, the line doesn't stop on the circle. It goes a little bit past. Long line, short dash, long line. Got to have those center marks. Now, we have to show those center marks up top here to show the center of the hole. So I'm going to transfer this up, okay, to the top. Long line, short dash, long line. And you'll do that for each of these, okay? You'll have a lot of overlap. All right, so you should have 3 sets of hidden lines, all right? And you should have 3 center lines as well, okay? And then just for time purposes, I'm not going to do it here on the right. It's going to look very similar. Just project the top and the bottoms of each of these circles over, and then you also have to do the center lines there, okay? All right, so we're at 21 minutes right now. Switch over to the next drawing, all right? So now that you finished that one, we're going to talk about the last drawing here. I did get some feedback. This one was a little difficult to figure out. That's because they don't give you all the information. We'll talk about what they give us, and we will figure out everything else. They give us the depth, okay? The depth is 1.5 boxes, so we have to make that 3. They do not tell us the height, okay? They don't tell us the height of the shape. So to determine the height of the shape, we'll go with the information that they give us. Over here, they're saying 3/4 up to this point, and then it's 3/4 up to this point. So that's 1.5, okay? Then from this point, the radius from here to there is a distance of 2, okay? So 2 plus the 1.5 gives us 5 on the height. But we have to double that, so it would be 10, okay? 10 on the height. So when I went to do my box here, all right, this distance is 2. This is 1.5. I'm sorry, it wouldn't be 10. I'm miscalculated. Back it up. So 2 is this distance. 1.5. That's 3.5. So it's 7 on the height for the box. Okay, so we're going to come up with a total of 7 boxes. Width-wise, they don't tell us the width, but if the radius is 2, the distance from here to here is 2. And the distance from here to here is 2. So that's 4. Okay. We come across a total of 8 boxes, okay? So it's 8 boxes, okay? Skip over 4, skip over 4, skip up 4, skip up 4 to leave some room, okay? Then when we start to do the depth, we determined that the depth on this drawing was 1.5. So now the depth on that drawing ends up being 3. So from here to here, that's our distance of 3. We already had our height, which we projected over. You bring this information up and you bring it over. We're now ready to start our drawing. Let's talk about the front view first. All right, the very first thing I see on this front view, if we're working from the bottom, it comes up 3/4 of a block, and it runs all the way across. So to do that, all right, I got to double that number. That means it's going to be 1.5 boxes. So on my drawing here, I'm going to come up 1.5 and make a mark. I am going to sketch that line real lightly all the way across my drawing, all the way to the right-hand side, okay? So we'll go ahead and sketch that line. So far, so good. Up 1.5. All right. Next, we need to get to that center mark so we can draw this circle and we can draw this arc. Okay. So to get to that center mark, they're telling us it comes up 1.5 boxes, and then to get to the middle would be 2 because the radius is 2. So I'm going to come up 1.5 boxes, 1.5 boxes, and in the middle should be the 2. All right. So where I'm at on here, I'm already at a half. So I got to go 1.5 boxes. So I already have the half a box. That's half plus 1. And then I got to come over 2. 2 doubled is 4, which puts me right there. That's where your mark is going to end up. Just to go over that again, we got to go up 1.5 boxes and then over 2, which would be 4, puts us right there at that mark. So I'm going to go ahead and make a mark. That's a very important piece, all right? So we can go ahead and start darkening some things in so you can see them, all right? That's what we have so far. Now we need the arc. The arc is a radius of 2, and the distance from here to here, here to here, and here to here is all the same. So you're going to sketch an arc that comes all the way around there, okay? It's got to hit that point. So when you sketch it, it's got to come all the way around like that. I'll roughly do it on mine. I like to do it in half. Don't try and do the whole thing all at once. Okay, there we are, looking good. Now we got to get that circle there in the middle. The circle there in the middle, they're telling us the diameter of that circle is 1. So our diameter would be 2. Okay, when we're going to draw the block, okay, we have to go, let me put the marks here. All right, when we're doing this, our diameter has to be 2. So from one side to the other has to be 2 blocks. That means from the center, we're going to go 1 in each direction. All right, now that we have that, we can go ahead and sketch it in. And I put the center mark on there just so we have it, okay? Just so I have it. All right, shifting over to the right side view. This thing ends up looking like an L, okay? We can already start to see the L forming. It's got to come up here somewhere. Well, how much? Well, they're telling